Growing up, I'd wait all week long for Saturday mornings when my grandma or Ba Ngoai and me would binge watch cooking shows on PBS like Jacque Pepin, Martin Yan, and we'd get so inspired that we'd cook up a storm the rest of the day. One of my favorite memories was when we'd make Xiu Mai or Vietnamese meatballs with her and my mom after our TV marathon. These aren't the kind of Xiu Mais you get at dim sum. They're steamed and simmered in a sweet and savory tomato sauce. And we ate them with the crusty Vietnamese baguette to soak up all the yummy juices. Doesn't that sound good? Well, today I'm going to show you how to make your own. But before we start, be sure to check me out on Snapchat at Honeysuckle B and on Instagram at Honeysuckle Catering to see my latest snaps. First, I'll start with my tomato sauce. In a heavy bottom stock pot, I'll add in one 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, 1 teaspoon of soy sauce, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, and half a teaspoon of sesame oil. I'm not adding a lot of different flavors into this sauce right now because it's going to come from the meatballs later. I'll mix it up and put it on medium-low heat to simmer while I work on my meatballs. In a mixing bowl, I'll add in 1 pound of ground pork, 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. This will lighten up the texture of the meat. 2 teaspoons of sugar, 3 teaspoons of fish sauce, 1 teaspoon of oyster sauce, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, and some freshly ground pepper. Now comes the fun part. We're gonna add a little bit of crunch and a little bit of intrigue to the meatballs. I'm gonna mince half a cup of jicama and add it to my pork mixture. Jicama is a root vegetable similar to a turnip, but it has a sweet crunch similar to an apple. Next, half a cup of yellow onions that I'll also finely mince to add a savory touch. And finally, half a cup of frozen green peas to add color. I'll mix everything together with my hands and start rolling them into meatballs. Once I'm done with that, I'll put the meatballs in a heat-proof bowl and place it in my bamboo steamer. Usually when I make meatballs, I bake them. When I bake them, a nice crust develops around the meatballs. The Vietnamese way for this is to steam them, and it helps to make a delicate meatball that's nice and juicy. I've already added water to my wok, so now I'll place the bamboo steamer on top and turn the heat on high and let it steam for 15 minutes to cook the meatballs. Once the meatballs are ready, I'll just transfer the meatballs and its juice to my heavy bottom stock pot with the tomato sauce. The meatballs are cooked through and released a broth from the steaming process. This is what's going to add all the flavors to our tomato sauce. I'll let it simmer for another 10 minutes and then it's time to serve. The way we ate these Xiu Mais growing up was in a bowl topped with Chinese sausage and some cilantro. But now I prefer mine with just a sprig of cilantro and of course a crusty baguette to soak up all that juice. I've also seen meatball subs at Vietnamese sandwich shops where they add meatballs to a Vietnamese baguette with some cucumbers, pickled daikon and carrots, and cilantro. And voila! They're all delicious to me, so let's have a taste. The Xiu Mais are so flavorful and juicy, perfected with the sweet and tangy tomato sauce. This is such a special meal that my family used to make. I hope you liked our family recipe. What are some of your family traditions? Comment below and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Another Vietnamese family recipe of mine is a classic Vietnamese spring roll. Be sure to check out that video.